Hey guys, in this video, we are looking at remove element on LeetCode. This is problem number 27 and it is of easy difficulty. So the idea of this problem is you are given an array of numbers called nums and a value. We need to be removing elements whose value is equal to val. So the thing is, all this problem statement is kind of misleading, but the idea here is what needs to be returned is the number of elements that are remaining after we remove uh, the elements belonging to val, right? So if you take this array of numbers, let me add it here, and then if you try to remove 3 from this array completely, pretend that there are no 3s, then what will happen is we'll be remaining with 2s, right? And then there will be 2 empty spots for us, okay? But we don't need to worry about what comes after the remaining elements. So this could be anything. When we submit our solution after replacing the values of 3 in this example, um, our solution is going to look at the first 2 elements or the remaining elements, and then it's going to also check the length of this value, which is 2 in this case. K will be 2. So there are 2 unique elements or first elements that should be part of the array after removing the value 3. Okay, and then whatever appears at the end, you don't really need to maintain or replace values after this length. Okay, it could be any number, we don't care. So instead of, so that prompts us to work on this problem in a slightly different way. So we don't really need to delete these values. Instead, we can just replace the value of 3 whenever we find an occurrence. And if we find a value of 3 after we already found out the number of unique elements, we can just ignore that value at the end. So let me take the example and then run through the example so that it's clear. So let's take a bigger example, okay? And here the value is 2, okay? Now I'm going to have 2 pointers. One is called j and the other one is I. So both of them start at the first index. And what we are going to check is if the nums of I, which is 0, is equal to the value or not. If it's not, then we are going to replace j, nums of j, with nums of I. Here, since both are pointing to the same index, we are just going to replace 0 with 0 and then move these 2 pointers. Similarly, 1 is not equal to j, so we are going to replace nums of j with nums of I, which is I1 replacing 1, and then we move these 2 pointers. Now we are going to check if nums of I is equal to value. It is true, 2 is equal to 2. Then what we are going to do is we are just going to move our I pointer to the next index. So it's going to, this will be done as part of the for loop. And now I'm going to do another comparison. Nums of I is again equal to 2. So it's going to move one step ahead. I is going to move one step ahead. Now I'm going to check if nums of I is equal to 2, which is not the case. Then immediately I'm going to be replacing nums of j with nums of I. That means I'm going to copy 3 and replace the value here. And whenever I replace j's value, I'm going to increment j by one step. Okay, and then I will be incremented at the end of the for loop. Again, there's going to be a new iteration that's going to start for the for loop. In this case, nums of I, which is 0, is not equal to uh, 2, right? So what I'll be doing is I'm going to copy nums of I and then replace it in the nums of j's place. Um, so 0. Now I'm just going to increment j by one pointer. Okay. Now I will also be incremented. If now we are going to check if nums of I, which is 4, equal to 2, which is not the case, then I'm going to copy nums of I, replace nums of j, and then increment by j pointer. Now I'm going to go to the nums of sorry, the I'm going to increment I to another value, next value as part of the for loop. Now nums of I is equal to nums of 2. Then I'm just going to increment I value. Now I have hit the end of the array. So the whatever is j, right? Whatever the value of j is actually the value of elements that are present when all the twos are removed from our array. Okay, we are removing the duplicate twos. So this is the set of unique elements when twos are removed from the array. Okay, now that will be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So since j is on the fifth index of the array, so the total number of elements are 0, sorry, 1, 2, 3, and 4 and 5. So which is the same value in the second example. Now let's put that into implementation. So the first and foremost thing that I'll be doing is I'll be checking if nums of length is equal to 0. Then I'll just return 0. Otherwise, I'm going to create a value called j first, and I'm setting it to 0. I'll also start a for loop with I equal to 0, I less than nums dot length, and then I plus plus. In this for loop, we'll be adding if nums of I is not equal to val, which is our parameter here as part of the function. Then what I'll be doing is I'm going to be replacing nums of j with my nums of I value, and I'll be incrementing j. So I'll be doing j plus plus. And when it comes out of the loop, I also gets incremented due to the for loop. And then we are going to be returning the j's position. So this is how we will be solving the problem. It's pretty straightforward, although the description of the problem is slightly confusing. We don't really need to go and replace every element whose value is equal to val. All we have to care about is we need to make sure that any number that is not equal to val, we are going to push them to the front of the array or replace the values to the front of the array, so that we'll be remaining with a unique set of numbers that does not have any element belonging to that is not equal to val. Okay, so that is how we solve it. So I'm going to go ahead and run this problem. So as you can see, our LeetCode is going to basically splice this array. Although we might have extra characters. Let me take a look at this problem. So let's in our example, right? We should ideally have 0, 1, 3, 0, 4, and then 0, 4, 2 as our extra numbers. But the LeetCode problem has actually spliced it because our j value is equal to 5. So it's going to splice that and it'll make sure that it does not have any twos in the output. So that is how we solve it. So I'm going to go ahead and submit this problem. As you can see, the problem has been accepted, and that is how we solve remove element, which is a LeetCode problem number 27. If you have any questions, please drop them in the comments. I'll be happy to answer any questions that you guys have. And also, if you found this tutorial or video useful, please give it a like. That's going to help me. And also consider subscribing to my channel. I'm going to be posting more videos on LeetCode, solving LeetCode problems using JavaScript. Thanks again for watching. I'll see you in the next tutorials.